We were talking about, before I did, there's a bite right there, about staying with the fish. When they're biting, you want to catch a bunch of fish. If you want to start catching schooling fish, that's what you have to learn. You have to learn to keep on fishing when they're biting and not sit there and celebrate and, you know, take all them pictures. And I'm not telling you that you can't document it somehow, but you figure for every, there, how about that? For every fish that you're taking a picture of, it's a cast or 2 or 3 or 4. And when they're biting, they're biting. And this is a great example. I've not even moved the boat any. From now on, let's use the most handiest of tools, Ogre Grip. It's a great tool because you don't even have to touch the fish really, but there, how about that? Should have been doing that all along. Another beautiful snook. And now, because we're sitting here taking advantage of it, we're able to catch, I think that's either, I think that's 5, I think. I'll have to go back and look at this. I think it is 5 or 4 or 5, maybe 6, I don't know. But regardless, if you're sitting there woohoo and taking pictures and all that stuff, which you absolutely should, shouldn't you? But if you are thinking and you're in a schooling scenario, which I know that we are. Now, it might not be a big school, and I'm not saying that this is 1,000 fish right here. But let's just say it is 5 fish. Well, guess what? I want to catch all 5 of them. When I learned about catching schooling fish, it was such an eye-opening experience. I had never caught schooling fish to the degree that I was shown how you could catch them. I really owe all that to, number 1, Rusty Rust, co-host of Fish and Affliction. We filmed for 10 years, 295 episodes, fishing with that man. Most of the trips we were together. But boy, I tell you what, Rusty, he is one that wants to catch every fish that swims. You have 2 different ways you can catch fish, to me, when I'm using artificials. Is what I refer to as one-offs, where you're going to go up the shoreline and you're going to pitch your lure to a spot, and you know, you might catch one there, one there, one there, one off a structure. But then you have schooling scenarios like this, and you know, all we're doing is preying on their instinct within their zone that they're comfortable in. Let's see if we can work the bite. We're going to put it right back in that feeding zone. There's definitely there it is right there. And it was on the drop. It's got to be a small snook. What do we got? Oh, that ain't a small one. It's a nice one. Look at there. Okay, so, well, I'm going to share something else with you. And this fish ate. I'm going to show you something biological. There's something that just happened. Bait. I want to see if I can stop him real quick and get this bait out of his mouth, because it's down in there. And I don't want him to swallow it. But I'm going to turn him up real quick, and you're going to see how far that bait is down in his mouth. It's way down there, so let me see if I can get it real quick. It's in the top of his mouth, so we're okay. It's not, but you have to be very, very careful when doing this, that you don't drop the lure. Let's get my rod out there. And this is, I didn't check that the outfit was frayed. This is the outfit I caught 67 snook on the other day. So what I'm going to do is just pop that lure. Oh, there it is, right there, perfect. And there's the lure. There's the lure. And there's the snook. How about that? Beautiful fish. Well, you hit it totally on the drop right there. And there you go. All right. So, where was I? Yeah, the catching, schooling fish. You have a window, you have a place, depending on the understandable habits of a snook. When I say understandable, it seems like all fish have a moment, all creatures have a moment. I just don't quite understand why and what they do. But that's how I learn. But I do know this. These snook have a lot of similarities to a largemouth bass. And when I started realizing that, well, then I started being able to exploit it. I enjoy it. That's what, 6 or 7 already. I was going to tell you what happens a lot of times like that right there. And it just to my point. All right, so that was a small little snook that big. You'll just have to take my word for it. A lot of times when you start catching them off of a spot like back here, what happens is it pulls the school off the position, off that location, and they come out to something different. I believe that's what we are dealing with right now. I believe I've caught, 5 or 6 back there, or 4 or 5, whatever it was. And it's not one fish going to the bait, it's all of them going to the bait. So as their pal disappears and they turn back around and they regroup, they don't necessarily regroup in the same exact area. So we refer to it as pulling the school off the spot. Now before I leave here, I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to make a cast this way, a cast that way. I'll make one more to both sides. So this is a 4-cast searching scenario using my tools here. I'll just get up in here. I'm going to make sure that the bait runs through where I believe is the beginning of the strike zone, the feeding zone. There, right there. And that's one reason I did that. Okay, so this fish ate it. This fish ate it. Okay, so I'll tell you what, couldn't ask for better cooperation with these fish to explain to you all what's going on. You just spit it out. How about that? So what I'm doing now, a lot of times when, beautiful another snook, when I get into a situation here where I find a school of fish, the other thing that can happen is that given an opportunity to be active to feed, it fires the school up. Okay, what happens then? Well, a lot of times fish go into a different place to feed. When it's time to feed, they don't just stay on the couch, so to speak, right? So it is possible that these casts that I have given to snook that were on the couch. On the couch just eating a snack, it might have put him in a position to say, you know what, let's get out there and feed, some baits come on by. All right, well, look at there. Another beautiful, beautiful Florida Key snook. Mother Nature changes so much out here, and this is what you have to remember. She's changing every second. Water's moving, doing something different. So fish are not just going to sit there and not respond to stimulus. And that's all that's happening here. But by using your inspired fishing combos made by Akuma to use them as searching tools, keep on fishing when they're biting. How about that? That was great. That was just great. I'm glad to be able to share these things with you.